Alright, if you're tuning into this, then you should have this subtraction fractions mini in front of you. And what we're going to do for this assignment is we're going to estimate and then we are going to solve. So we're not going to use the number line on this activity because I don't think there's enough room for us to use the number line. But when we're solving, the one thing we want to remember is we need to get like pieces, and we also want to relate that back to our estimate to make sure it's a reasonable answer. So let's go ahead and get started with this first one. It says Trinity had one blue plastic shelf that was 3/4 foot long and a green plastic shelf that was 2/3 foot long. What is the difference in the lengths of the shelves in feet? So very quickly, I'm going to draw, let me see if I can get my pencil to work here. I'm going to draw a box, actually two boxes of about the same size. This is going to help me with my quick estimate. The first box I'm going to divide into fourths. So I'm cutting it in half and then cutting that in half again. The second box I'm going to cut into thirds. So I'm going to kind of eyeball that. I'm going to quickly do a little bit of shading to represent the fractions. So this would be the 3/4 and this would be my 2/3. I can see right away that the 3/4 is a little bit bigger than the 2/3. And so what I'm thinking is my options are either to add the fractions or to subtract them because they are not equal in size. And when I think about finding the difference, I want to think about which one is a little bit bigger than the other. What is that difference? What is this small piece that separates them? So that's going to be subtraction. So here's what I'm thinking. It's going to be a really tiny fraction because when I think about estimating, I want to think about, is it about 0 of the picture? Is it about half of the picture, or is it almost the whole thing? This would be a whole, this would be about half, this would be about 0. And so my quick and easy estimate would be this is on its way to being about 1, and this is about almost 1 as well. So 1 minus 1 could be 0. You might want to think about this as a little more than a half. This is a little more than a half. Regardless of which fraction set I choose, I can see right away that that difference is going to be very tiny. So what that tells me is when I get ready to subtract, my answer should be a very small amount. So right now I'm going to draw a line to separate my estimate from my exact work. And of course, if we're going to be subtracting, which is what we chose to do, we always don't want to start with that larger amount. So I have the fraction 3/4 minus 2/3. And yes, you're going to have to write smaller. And when I think about a common denominator that 3 and 4 could share, hopefully what you're thinking is 12. You can use your multiplication chart. You can also do some skip counting. So let's skip count by threes. 3, 6, 9, and 12 is the number that I can count by threes. Let's confirm that with our fours. So we have 4, 8, and 12. So the next thing that I have to do is figure out, well, how many 4s and how many 3s? How many 4s get me to 12? Well, that would be 3. So if I multiply the bottom by 3, I have to also multiply the top by 3. So that's going to give me the fraction 9/12. I'm going to go ahead and write my subtraction symbol. And I have to think about how many 3s will get me to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means I'm going to be multiplying by 4, multiplying by 4. This new fraction that I create, my denominator is 12. My numerator is 4 times 2, which will give me 8. Now that we have 12s, we should be able to subtract those numerators. You go ahead and subtract that and get me an answer. And hopefully the answer that you were able to come up with was 1/12. And when I think about that being related to my estimate, 1/12 is a very tiny amount. Is that close to 0? Why, yes, it is. This is a reasonable answer. So I'm going to give myself a little smiley face because that makes sense. Now, if this is not enough space for you to work on, then probably what you need to do for the next one is get a piece of notebook paper.